Hi guys, so here's Miss Monroe. Get ready for Unit 10 vocabulary. Woo! Okay, so first word is acuity. It is a noun and it means sharpness or keenness of thought, vision, or hearing, such as in intellectual acuity. You would not use acuity to describe things that are physically sharp, like a knife. This is sharpness, like of your mind, right? So, like, the investigator would be known for his incredible acuity, right? Or somebody who was into archery would be known for his visual acuity, being able to see far away. Aesthetic. That's how you say this. Aesthetic. It is an adjective and a noun. Make sure you get both of them. Adjective, concern with beauty or the appreciation of beauty. The pictures give great aesthetic pleasure. Like it has to do with something that is beautiful. You would describe it as an aesthetic design, right? Or you would say, in the sense of a noun, a set of principles underlying the guiding and guiding the work of a particular artist. So the cubist aesthetic, the postmodern aesthetic, the 1970s aesthetic with like bell bottoms and all that hippie business, right? It's like the group of principles that describe like how something looked. Amenity. It is a noun and it is a desirable or useful feature or facility of a building or place, such as a basic amenity. Many of you will be looking for hopefully houses, right? Or like apartments to rent. You would be looking for certain amenities, like a washer and dryer in your apartment. That would be a basic amenity. An adjective is articulate. Sorry, I jumped the gun there. Articulate. It's an adjective and a verb. Okay. So, in the adjective sense, it's a person who can speak fluently and coherently, an articulate account of their experience, right? Somebody who is very educated tends to be very articulate. If you are giving a statement to a police officer, you'd want to be very articulate. On a first date, you'd want to be very articulate. Or you could use it in the sense of a verb. You would articulate or articulating when they were able to articulate their emotions. Like you couldn't speak fluently. Okay. Asperity. It is a noun and it means harshness of tone or manner when speaking specifically. And there's like a little bit of sarcasm and tartness to the tone also. So, like, if you were getting in a fight with somebody and they give you like little snippy comments back, they would be speaking with asperity. Okay. You would want them, like, sometimes if you're a little too much attitude with your mom or something, she might say, like, tone down the asperity. Okay. Like the sarcasm. Attenuate. It is a verb, and I put a bunch of examples for attenuate because it's kind of a difficult word to know how to use, and it can be used in a few different ways. But so take a look at these examples that I felt like copying twice. I don't know why, but it means to reduce the force, effect, or value of. Her intolerance was attenuated by rather unexperienced libertarianism. Weakened, reduced, lessened. So, in that sense, the patient's muscle activity was attenuated, it was lessened. Attenuated strains of a virus, the strains were lessened, right? The tree's branches were attenuated by the lack of sun. Bandinage, I love how you say that. Bandinage, it is a noun, humorous or witty conversation. Cultured bandinage. So maybe like, um, you're trying to like impress people. So you are known, you'll throw around some badinage, some humorous and witty conversation. Catharsis, it's a noun and it's a process of releasing and thereby providing relief from strong or repressed emotions. Characters catharsis. If you remember Macbeth from last year, or Hamlet, right before they die, usually they have this moment of like, oh no. Like they realize that all this stuff they've been dealing with, they finally realize the truth of it and they just like get it all out. That's called a catharsis. It's like a little mini freak out where you get everything out that's been like kind of pressed down. Cavil, it is a verb and a noun, and it means to make petty or unnecessary objections. They cavilled at the cost, or a noun, the objection seen as petty or unnecessary. They tossed the cavil out the window. Consign. It is a verb and it means to deliver something to a person's custody. And normally it has to do with it being sold. So he consigned three paintings to the gallery, like sent it to be sold. You would consign uh, your car to this dude on Craigslist. You know, you would be delivering it to them to sell it, usually, but not always. You see the example on the bottom: consign the letter to the wastebasket. So conveyed, post, shipped. Contrite, adjective, feeling or expressing remorse or penitence affected by guilt. It's an extreme type of guilt. Like that's the tone, being very repentant, not like a forced guilt, but like a really intense guilt. So the contrite woman, the contrite heart, the contrite politician. Delectable, it's an adjective almost always to talk about food or drink, and it means it's incredibly delicious. Sometimes you'll hear this word to describe a woman. Try never to do that. It's a bit like too much. Extremely beautiful or an attractive woman. It's trying to say like she's so beautiful you could like eat her up. You see how that's I'd stay away from that, but you can see how sometimes it's used in that way. Most often to do with food though. Depreciate. It is a verb to diminish in value over a period of time. A lot of times you hear this used in terms of like a car. Like a car would depreciate, money depreciates. Um, you could also use this when saying to like disparage or belittle something. She was already depreciating her own aesthetic value. She was already kind of belittling it or putting it down. You could depreciate, I don't know, your friend's prom dress behind her back by saying like, she probably got that off of Craigslist. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm saying that's a way to do it. Derelict. It is an adjective and a noun, two parts of speech there. You could be derelict in your duties, like in a very poor condition, the result of disuse and neglect. The cities were derelict and dying. Your duties were derelict. You kind of gave up on them. Or it's a noun. It is the person without a home or property, like a homeless person, a vagrant, vagabond, the derelicts on the street corner. Diatribe. It is a noun and it is a forceful and bitter verbal attack against someone or something. An intense, nasty. This isn't about like being like sarcastic. A diatribe is like a long, just like railing into somebody kind of speech. Dissidence. It's a noun and it is a protest against an official policy. The feeling of dissidence was palpable. Sorry. It's like an intense protest against something, the dissidence. Efficacy. It's a noun and it's the ability to produce desired or intended result. There's little information on the efficacy of this treatment. Most often you see efficacy to do with medicine or like the medical field, like the vitamins efficacy or the researched efficacy. Again, it usually has to do with like if a drug is going to produce the desired result. Elude. It is a verb and it means to evade or escape from. It could either be like a criminal could elude, or sleep could elude you, or an idea could elude you. Like the concept of parts of speech may still be eluding you, that kind of thing. Eschew. Okay, eschew. That's how you say that. It is a verb and it means to deliberately avoid using to eschew violence. You like purposefully stay away from it. You could like eschew donuts if you were on a diet, as terrible as that sounds. So it's like purposely trying to stay away from. Esoteric. That's how you say that. Esoteric. Adjective, and intended for or likely to be understood only by a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. Esoteric philosophical debates. It's only a few people really get it because they have special knowledge in that one particular area. Like you would hear people having an esoteric conversation about, I don't know, basketball players of the 1920s in a coffee shop. Like only those people would know that esoteric information because they study basketball players of the 1920s. That'd be esoteric information. Yay, that's it. Okay, that's the end of Unit 10.